Hey guys, I realise it's been a long time since I did a video talking about any of my kind of witchcraft, pagan, Wicca type stuff. I figured I would change that today and show you my book collection. Recently I've really gotten back into all this stuff and I've been kind of inspired to use it for some of my music, so I wanted to show you guys all of my books and everything. These books are also mostly kind of beginner stuff, so you might have seen these before. If you guys have any book suggestions for me or anything you'd like to have me check out, please do let me know. I'm always looking for new stuff. So I've got my stack of books here, and I guess I'll just get started from the top and work my way down. So the first one I have here is Handbook of Magic and Witchcraft by Charles W. Oliver. I quite like this one. I've read it a couple of times now and it's got some kind of cool bits in it. It's got stuff on like religious symbolism and the Kabbalah and like sexual worship and like the Sabbath and divination and alchemy. It's all kind of very much like all sorts all over. I quite like it, and it's fairly easy to read. I've got a very high reading comprehension and a large vocabulary, but even sometimes it's nice to just read something that isn't really dense, and I find sometimes kind of witchcraft books can be quite dense, so I quite like this one. This next one I've had for literally years. It's A Piatka's Guide to Tarot by Cassandra Eason, and literally I've probably had this since I was 8, and it's kind of cool. It just shows you all about the tarot, and it shows you some basic card spreads and everything to do with that. I'm not very good at tarot. I kind of don't practice it very often. It just kind of doesn't. It appeals to me aesthetically, but when I actually sit down to do it, I'm kind of a bit lazy. But this book's quite good for if you're just kind of getting into that. That's what it looks like. This next one I've just included in here for the sake of having my whole collection. I got this one when I was a kid as well. This is Spells for Teenage Witches by Marina Baker, and it's just one of those like edgy books that like teen girls would pick up, and it's got like handwriting spells and birthday spells and kind of like spells that would appeal to like teenage girls. And it's all, you need like, and it's all very much get a piece of ribbon of this colour and a candle of this colour and say these words and stuff, and it's very kind of like what teenage girls think witchcraft is based on what TV shows tell them. I don't know, that's just the kind of deal I get from this. I've read it a bunch of times. I've never actually tried any of the spells off this. They were all a bit too corny for me, but I've got that. Next one is Magic for Beginners by J.H. Brennan, and I read the start of this, but when I got it and I read the back, I was just like, yeah, this is going to be like a load of rubbish. Because it basically says like, we're going to show you how to materialise a $100 bill, how to assume a god form and stuff, and achieve the unbelievable, the state of invisibility. And I sort of read the back and I was like, yeah, this is sort of bullshit. So I've still not read it. I mean, if you guys have read this and you actually like it, and you think that it's got some decent stuff in here, then I might actually read more than the first couple of pages, but I've got that. I don't know, it just seemed all a bit kind of scammy to me. So the next one I have is actually one of my favourite books from like an inspirational standpoint. I really like drawing stuff from this. This is The Goetia, The Lesser Key of Solomon the King. It's got an introduction by Aleister Crowley, and it's kind of cool. And it's got a load of his kind of not very good drawings in it. But I quite like this book. It's just full of like really cool stuff. It talks all about the Goetia, and I've always been interested in them, and it shows like cool seals, and there's just like, I don't know, it just looks very cool, and I'm kind of like aesthetically driven, even if there's not too much usable substance in this. I do quite like looking at the pretty pictures. I just think it's a kind of cool book. Some people might disagree with me, but whatever. This next one is Studies in European History, Witchcraft and Magic in 16th and 17th Century Europe, and I bought this thinking it would be kind of more informative than it was. This is kind of basically a history book, but I didn't know that at the time. But it's still kind of cool if you're into like the whole history of, you know, the witch trials and everything. It's pretty cool. This next one is The Book of Wicca by Lucy Summers. I quite like this one. It's nice and small and compact, and it's got lots of pretty pictures, and it kind of is very much like a beginner's guide to Wicca. It tells you all of the things that you need and all about the Sabbath and like the Wheel of the Year and candles and talismans and some kind of basic spells and everything, but I quite like it. I think it's really pretty and it's small as well, which is nice. This next one's probably another one of my favourites. This is Wiccan Spirituality by Kevin Saunders, and this one's really pretty as well. It's not got a lot of pictures in it, but I just kind of like how it's laid out. It's kind of, again, very beginner's guide to Wicca, but this one's a little more in-depth than the last one. Kind of talks a bit more about the kind of meditationally internal side of it instead of more the here's what all the different colours of candles do. I quite like this one. This one talks quite a lot about introspective meditation and all of that sort of stuff. It's got some kind of spell stuff like how to open and close a circle and everything like that. I quite like this one, and I've read this one a couple of times as well. My penultimate book is Witchcraft, A Beginner's Guide by Teresa Murray, and this one's just really small. I've actually not finished this one because I kind of glanced through it really quick when I first got it, and it's basically the same idea as some of the other books, only even smaller and even simpler. It is very much Beginner's Guide to Witchcraft, condensed even further, but it's still pretty cool. And then this last one is my big one. This is the Illustrated Encyclopedia of Witchcraft and Practical Magic, and it's really big and heavy, and as you can see I've got like some bits for notes and stuff just scattered about in here. I wouldn't say this is my favourite one, but I do like a lot of the stuff in here. This one is very much like, it tells you all about witchcraft and different cultures, and it has a bit on the witch trials, which I always love. Anything to do with that, I just think it's so interesting. Shrines and candles and kind of stuff like that is very much kind of just telling you all about the stuff that you can do. Kind of talks about various divination techniques, but it's got a lot of pretty pictures and a lot of information, and it's a big ass heavy book. It's pretty much got all of the kind of beginner stuff with a lot of history. Like the whole first half of this book pretty much is history of witchcraft in different areas of the world, which is really awesome. So right now those are all the books that I have relating to witchcraft. I'm hoping to get a bunch more because right now those only take up like a tiny little shelf in my bookcase, and I just love having them in my bookshelf, and I love taking them out to read them and kind of really getting more back into that, so I wanted to make a video showing you guys that. But yeah, again, if you have any book suggestion for me, please do let me know. I'm very much kind of open to all sorts of books relating to that. Obviously I probably don't want any more beginner's guide books. I kind of bought loads of these kind of around the same time and didn't realise until they all arrived and I looked through them that I'd bought like 5 beginner's guides that all said like the same thing pretty much over and over again. So those are all of my kind of witchcraft Wicca type books. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys again really soon. Bye bye.